Hi everyone, StariAri here to give you a fixed star conjunctions for the week of May 9th to the 15th. So I'm gonna try to see if this works with connecting the chart so you guys can follow along with me. So the reasons why you should explore how these stars are influencing the planets during these transits is because sometimes you might feel that a planet doesn't resonate the way that someone is explaining it to you in astrology, or maybe you reading it up on it and you're like, there's something else going on here that I should look into. So the fixed stars can assist you with learning a little bit more about the different energies that are influencing the planets. Okay, doesn't mean that it completely supersedes the energy of the planet, but it can either influence it to be a really great, successful, and whatever else, good time, or it could make it really crazy and very difficult energy. Okay, so that's what the stars usually do. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this week's chart. Well, we're going to start with May 9th. Okay, let me just share my screen. It's going to take a little bit longer than usual. There we go. All right, so as you can see right here on the top side to, this is mirrored, I'm sorry, but in my vision is on the left. You see the moon is conjunct the star Regulus. Okay, Regulus is actually in Leo. Okay, and or you could even say it's in between Leo and Virgo season. Okay, so right now the moon is in Leo. Okay, you can see that. Well, this chart doesn't show it, that's in Leo. Well, anyway, the moon in Leo is conjunct the fixed star Regulus for the 9th, and the constellation of Leo is where this star resides. Okay, so the energy, according to Ptolemy, is about having some occult interest in mind, such as learning more about the hidden mysteries or whatever, spirituality, these things, magic, all that good stuff. It also is about bringing in or connecting with very powerful people or making powerful friends, influential friends. But it also has like wealth and honor is like heightened during this time, and good benefits, such as benefits of like you getting what you want, manifestations, things like that. But also there is the dark side of this, which is the influence of, I would say, sicknesses, illnesses, violence, even making enemies, right? So that's what this particular star, when it's conjunct the moon, will most likely bring about. So that being said, I honestly always tell people to do your own research personally, like intuitively, right? And see how the moon's influence is already, I would say, connecting to your own energy and your needs and things like that, right? But also making sure that you connect with the star itself. I mean, let's be honest, these stars were channeled information wise by someone a long, long time ago, right? It might not be applicable in your life, right? So that's why I always say, just research it yourself, connect to that energy yourself, and see how it goes for you. Okay, you are the individual, you're the one that receives this energy, therefore you use it the way that you're supposed to use it for your own self. Okay, so moving on, we also have another conjunction this day, and we have the star Deneb al-Jadi conjunct Saturn, and actually Saturn in Aquarius at this time. And the star Deneb al-Jadi is within the constellation of Capricornus, or the sea goat Capricorn. So this conjunction will bring in great influence or power over nature or animals, right? Nature spirits. So I would recommend connecting to nature during this time. And then, of course, if you do magic work, then in that way, connecting to the animal spirits, animal guides, or what a lot of us do in shamanic practices is actually become one with the animal spirits, which is we transform into the animal energetically speaking and use its wisdom to whatever gains we need for our spiritual practice, for self-healing or healing of others, right? Whatever medicines they bring to us for this purpose, okay? And also brings about knowledge of secrets, the secrets of nature, the nature spirits, so such as the elementals. Maybe if you are being asked to work with elemental energy, such as fire, earth, water, or air, or plant medicine, things like that, it might be a good idea to do that during this time. But the bad side of things, of course, there's always going to be a negative side, right? There is unpleasant appearances or unpleasant situations in life that take place, like relationships, like your interpersonal relationships with other people, such as your marriage, your romantic affiliations, things like that, that are like bad, right? Like toxic. It could also bring separation from you due to death, like death in the family from you and someone that you viewed as one of your parents or who raised you, things like that. So be mindful of that as well, because this star's influence is all the way until next week, you guys. Like, if you look it up in the chart, you will see that it is going to continuously come in every day. Okay, the Neval-Jadi, conjunct Saturn, all until next week. So be mindful of how that star is gonna. It's a lengthy conjunction, so be mindful how that star is going to influence you from this week on out. Okay. So another thing that it influenced is her need to be a hermit. Like, I know a lot of people think that's a bad thing, especially people who are very social. I don't think it is. In shamanic practice, we are solitude. We like solitude. We like our independence. We like our space. We like to be alone very often, right? A lot of people don't understand that, which they might think, oh, poor person that is eating alone in the restaurant. Hell no. That's amazing. Okay. That's amazing feeling that you just have to worry about yourself, worry about what you want to order, and your paycheck or the check at the end of the visit is less than what it would be if you were there with someone else, right? So yeah. So, and then another good thing is about becoming a hermit. That's what this star would influence you, becoming a hermit or being more independent, seeking solitude, right, and refuge. So some people might think of it as a bad thing, and other people like myself love that. So take it as it is. So the next day, let's look at the info. I'm like clicking on the freaking, no, let's close that, because we're going to change the date here. So on the 10th, we have, again, the Neval-Jadi influencing and is conjunct Saturn. Okay, so that's until, like I said, until next week. So let's go ahead and move on to, I think it's until like let's see, we'll move on to the 11th, because that doesn't really have much going on, since you guys already know what that energy is. So now we have the moon moving, okay, or the stars alcade that has moved into the moon, okay, conjunct the moon. So let's show the chart actually. So here we go. So the moon in Virgo is conjunct the fixed star alcade in the constellation of Ursa Majoris, or the Great bear or the greater bear or the Big Dipper, like everybody knows it as. This energy is similar to, according to Ptolemy, the moon and Mercury and Saturn, and it brings, in Ptolemy's point of view, again, because he channeled this information, it's not really, solid facts. He states that because of this influence, it's a very negative influence, a very negative star, because it brings about tragedy, death, and all that stuff, right? So when I looked at the Hermetic practice or the Hermetic philosophy regarding these stars, is very different. So Hermes believed that this star's actual connection or energy is more similar to the lunar energy or moon energy and the planet Venus. That being said, that's two feminine energies, right? So, and then the moon in Virgo, that's feminine as well. So this is more about understanding of feminine power and authority, magic, healing, and diving deeper into self-healing as well as assisting others with their healing, okay? Such as healing herbs, protection, whatever, okay? The giving of assistance, okay, being someone who is there for people in that manner, okay. That's what Hermes believed this star influenced it, with the moon, of course. So then another thing is that it protects people who travel, such as if you might be traveling during this time, so you're well protected, where your people are looking out for you. Things like that. But of course, let's talk about the negative side of this star, okay? Be warned, okay? If you use all of that stuff, like their feminine abilities, for bad, meaning like to seduce, manipulate, hurt or harm someone, or try to influence someone to do something out of selfish means and gains, then you will see an instant downfall. Okay, so say for example, because the stars influence us, the star's influence is very great. It's either really great success or really horrible downfall. Okay, there's like no real in between. So this is telling you could get great success in your life if you work with your feminine abilities, your intuition, your healing abilities, things like that. But if you use this against someone, say you manipulate them into giving you money because you tell them that you're the only one that could do certain things, or you're planting seeds of fear into the people and they're thinking that they are so powerless, they can't do the work themselves, that they're coming to you, giving you all their riches and shit like that, going into like poverty pretty much to give you money to help them out, then you're going to instantly fall from grace. Okay, that's what this moon lunar influence conjunction with this fixed star will do to you. So be mindful, right? Okay, so the same day, we also have Saturn in Aquarius conjunct the fixed star Deneb Al-Jadi as well, as you can see here in the chart. So moving on to the next day, May 12th. And let's show the same thing, Saturn. And let's move on to the 13th. All right, so here we have like two different conjunctions with the moon, okay? So looking at right here on the left side of the chart, my left, it might be your right, I don't know, this might be mirrored. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Okay, so we have the moon in Libra conjunct the fixed star Spica, and that is the ear of wheat that the maiden is holding. So Virgo, the constellation of Virgo, that's where the star is located. So this energy, since it's conjunct this fixed star, it has the influence of Venus and Mars. And this is about gaining great success through through inventions, through I would say looking at things in a more creative way, also gaining wealth and honors through the assistance of people who are influenced or who have, I would say, their sun in either Gemini, Virgo, so Mercury, or Taurus, Libra, so Venus, and then Jupiter, so that'll be Sagittarius. Okay, so these people can help you with launching new ideas, creating something such as a new business venture, an invention to make the world a better place. Of course, nothing like to make war, things like that. So that's what this would help with. Okay, so the next moon conjunction. So again, we still have the moon in Libra, as you guys can see there. So this one's conjunct the fixed star Arcturus, which is the left knee of the herdsman, and the herdsman's constellation of Boots. Okay, so for this one in particular, you have the energy of Mars and Jupiter. So this is about new friends, making I would say networking, as well as new business ventures and business success. Like you launching a business will be very successful at this time. Good judgment when it comes to friendships, right? Networking and business. Also domestic bliss and harmony, so happiness in the home, right, with your relationships with your children, with your spouse, with your romantic partner, with your mother, father, if you still have them, relatives, things like that. But the negative side of this one is the Mars energy, of course, here, and this is a danger of death via suffocation. So just know that Ptolemy has that type of, belief or whatever. But like I said before, make it your own. Okay, you connect to the star on your own and see what it's influencing you or how it's influencing you. Okay, so then again we have Saturn, okay, in Aquarius conjunct the fixed star D right here at this day. So moving on to May 14th, we still have Saturn conjunct. Let's see. But now we have something new. We have a midheaven in Cancer, okay? So let's look at this chart. And by the way, I'm using the Time Nomad chart. I like this. It's easy to navigate, but you can't really use it online. It's only via an app. Okay, so you got to really work with the app in order for you to understand how everything looks and where to look up at things and stuff like that. So I like it though, because everything's right there for you, and you just have to look up like your natal chart reading for your fixed stars. You just have to put it in there, on the app. So anyway, we have the midheaven in Cancer and is conjunct the fixed star Procyon in the constellation of Canis Minoris, which is the little dog, which is right next to Canis Majoris, which is the larger dog, which is the dogs of Orion, the constellation of Orion, the hunter. Okay, so let's look at what this means. So first of all, this is a binary star system, meaning there's two stars influencing this particular star. Okay. And the energy is similar to Mercury and Mars. Okay. So we have like sudden success due to Mercury, and we have sudden disaster due to Mars. But we also have a high interest in occult, the mysteries, right? And in politics. So for example, if you're into the occult, if you really know a lot and you want to teach and you want to influence people into learning things or whatever, you become a high priest or high priestess or a witch or a warlock or a shaman or whatever, you want to call yourself, you even an astrologer. you will have high success, okay, during this alignment with the star. So this is high success. So it's pretty cool, but the downside is that Martian energy, which is if you swindle people, if you lie to people, if you cheat and steal from people, if you do all that bullshit that unfortunately there's a lot of people who do this in the spiritual community, you will have a sudden downfall, okay? Sudden just a run of bad luck. Okay. So with politics, the same thing. If you're into politics, if you want to be a politician, which I don't know why you want to do that. Like personally, I wouldn't. But if you want to do that, if you want to be influential, or you want to change what's going on in the government, which for a fact that it's never going to happen. I'm not, trying to squash people's dreams, but come on, let's be real. These people are all working together. They are just all pretenders and actors on the stage and just acting like there is separation when they're both in on the same shit, right? So anyway, if you're into this, then you'll see great success with this influence of the star. But if you lie, cheat, and steal, if you swindle people, if you lie to people, if you lie to the public about whatever, you will see a great disastrous downfall for you and your party, which maybe this day, May 14th, might have that influence for the collective governments of the world that are lying and swindling and cheating us, all of us, right? And trying to keep us in perpetual wars, trying to keep us separated from one another, trying to keep whatever negative shit, like us versus them type of mentality. This can actually influence this day as well in that realm of politics, where we will start to see the truth, even though they're telling us the truth and nobody's doing shit about it, right? So it's kind of like this will kind of push forward in so many ways. People who are still backing these politicians, who are still choosing parties, who are still voting, who are still doing this shit, they'll be more, I guess you could say, they'll start to realize that it's all bullshit. Okay. So that's what this star will influence in that sense. Okay. So moving on to May 15th. Let's go ahead and choose the date. Okay, so now this one's important, you guys. You guys really need to look at this one because the sun is conjunct a fixed star now. Okay, so let's look at the chart for this day. So we have sun in Taurus. We still are in Taurus season. It's conjunct the fixed star Algol, or the head of Medusa. Okay, the Gorgon's head. Within the constellation of Perseus, the hero, who was a demigod, son of Zeus. Okay, he actually went up and killed Medusa, chopped off her head, and took it for himself and used it against his enemies. If you guys want more about that mythology, I recommend you look up Greek mythology and you'll read more about that. Okay, so anyway, and by the way, Medusa was a victim of RAPE. Okay, just FYI. I don't care what anybody says. She was a victim. I support her. All right. So anyway, this influence, and again, Ptolemy, here we go with all the negative shit, right? So apparently, because it's the Gorgon's head, or the head of Medusa, the star is supposed to be a very negative star. So it has very negative traits. And ultimately, because it's Medusa and it's a feminine energy, it has negative feminine qualities. So example, like Ptolemy says it's similar to Saturn and Jupiter energy with Mars and Mercury energy as well. So if it's under Mars and Mercury energy, for example, it is said to be very primitive female sexual energy or the dark feminine energy, such as when you think about Lilith energy, you know, the dark feminine, everything that's hidden, sexual deviancy, things like that, manipulation, penetrating ruthlessness, dishonesty, deception, things like that, right? That's what Ptolemy believes the star is going to bring. But if we have Saturn and Jupiter influence from this star, then it's adventurous. It is adventurous, but it's also very ruthless in nature, just like with Mars, you know, like tell you the truth even if it hurts type of thing. Saturn would be that way. I'll tell you the truth even though it hurts, you know. So I would say work with the star's energy and see how it influences you personally, because it has a lot of negative connotations here. So moving on, we have Saturn still in Aquarius conjunct the fixed star of Al-Jadi, as you can see there. But now we also have the midheaven showing up as well. So soon for next week, I would even say tomorrow, or actually the day after, the 16th, I believe, you'll start to see conjunctions with the ascendant and other fixed stars. Okay, so watch out for those. There's going to be more conjunctions next week, but those are the fixed stars for this week. Let's go ahead and pull some cards and see what we can do about this energy, how we can work for it during this week, how we can remedy or help ourselves through these fixed stars conjunctions. Okay, so let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen so you guys can see what I'm pulling. Okay, so I'm using the galactic heritage cards for this reading. The reason why I wanted to hit up on the fixed stars even more is because I've been influenced by my star family to give you guys a little bit more insight onto these things, right? And also to help you guys understand that sometimes the planets can be either highlighted, like its energy itself. Like, for example, if one of the fixed stars has Saturn energy in it, and say it's influencing Saturn, so it's conjunct Saturn, right? Then that is going to highlight that Saturnian energy. It's going to intensify it, okay? But if it doesn't have it in the fixed star, then it's going to make kind of like, I guess, mix in with Saturnian energy and might be a little bit different, might not be as intense, okay, so to speak. Okay, so let's see, we got Monday and Tuesday, logic and reason coming from Vega. So for this one, it's like, okay, understanding what's going on in your life, how to deal with situations, coming from a logical perspective, as well as coming from a wanting to resolve issues in a more, I would say, mindful way, where you don't allow yourself to be overly emotional. Maybe you do that privately, but when you have to face the facts, the solid facts right in front of you, you can't really run from them. You can't really shout or scream or throw a hissy fit. It has to be, you know, you have to be reasonable, because it's not going to go away. The problem's not going to go away the more you cry about it, right? So that's what this energy is influencing us for this week. And it's funny because the fixed stars are just like, woo, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. Like, we're going to face the facts. We're going to deal with our shit, our issues. We're going to build off of a solid foundation, right? So the next one I have is courageousness. And this is coming from Lyra. So the courageousness is the key here, right? So confronting something that is very, I would say, hard for you to do, it takes courage, right? It takes bravery. It takes determination and will to see the changes in your life for the better, right? So that's what it is. It's like, even though there's going to be a lot of heavy energy this week, you are being asked to face it head on. Of course, make a plan of action before you do that, so that you feel more comfortable with facing it. But it's time for you to face it head on. Okay. So then we got for the weekend the pulse of life, the galactic core. So this one is really cool because it's like right in the middle of everything, right? So the galactic core, the galactic center is in the constellation of Sagittarius. Okay. This would be kind of like, okay, you connecting to what it is that is awakening passion within you. So if you have to move things around, meaning that if you have to change the way that you perceive things, if you have to make some really hard life choices, then it has to happen because the whole purpose of it is for you to continue to flow, for you to continue to grow, for you to continue to be in alignment with your pretty much your path, right? Your divine path, right? And so another thing is that the pulse, when you think about, that's a heartbeat, right? So that's passion, the center of passion, the center of unconditional love. And it's also a center of creativity, where the divine feminine expresses herself and the divine masculine supports the expression, right? And protects the expression of divine feminine. So I would recommend that you work through whatever's going on in your life, and know that things are getting better. Okay, the more that you actually fix things in your life, the more that you understand that, hey, I have to confront these things about myself or confront these things about someone else, then the better off you will be. Okay, the better off that you'll, like, the better flow you'll have, right? It's going to be more effortless. Okay, so that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video is pretty long and I apologize for that, but we had to get through it somehow, right? Okay, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.